Hi everyone, Dead Battery here, and thank you for joining me on my channel. Happy holidays from Japan, no matter what holiday you celebrated, and I hope you had fun just sitting around the house and playing video games like we did, or you spent time with friends and family. I also got our Japanese tradition, which is KFC. Let me know in the comments what your holiday tradition is. So today's video is actually a present for my friend Diana. So my 2 weeks fell perfectly after Christmas time, so I wouldn't give this surprise away. She had a Super Nintendo system that was sent from the States here to Japan, and unfortunately between shipping and packing, it basically got demolished, and it was still in one piece, but there were a lot of other pieces to it. Basically, we were going to reshell it and make sure that it still worked. I have never taken apart a Super NES, but I figured this is a great opportunity to see what it looks like on the inside. In the process of this, I was sneakily speaking with her boyfriend, who is also one of my friends, and we decided to reshell it in her favorite color, which is purple. And while we were discussing it, we were talking about any kind of designs that she would want on it, and I found out that she's a huge Overwatch fan, and her character is Diva. However, I don't know anything about Overwatch. It is not a game that I play, but I did a little research and I decided to make it her character. So let's take apart this broken Super NES, let's put a new shell in it, and then let's give it to her for Christmas. Here is the Super NES, and as you can see, the front's cracked and the side has a huge hole in it. There are also a whole bunch of pieces that I got from the bottom of the bag that she brought it to me in. This side part is definitely loose as well. I was trying to see if it would just fall off, but I wasn't too sure, so I was just messing with it and wiggling it to see how bad it really was. Two of the screw holes are underneath these stickers, and I would say normally this would be an easy task, except it was so broken that the holes have completely broken away, and getting these screws out was so difficult because everything just kept breaking more. I know it didn't really matter at this point, but it was a struggle to get all these screws out of the bag. And even when I thought I got it, I did not, so I had to go back and try to get this last one off. Once I got that, then the top came completely off, and this is what it looks like on the inside. The new shell that I got her was a clear purple. Unfortunately, with my lighting in the office, right now it's looking very blue, but I promise you by the end you will see that it is purple. Now we have all the bits and bobs out, so I'm basically going to start taking it apart piece by piece. Once again, I've never taken one of these apart, so I want to make sure I can put it back together properly. The first is the cartridge release, and it's just a metal bar and a spring attached to it. Now I'm going to remove the power switch. There's just two screws holding it down. And I still am struggling to get this one screw out. I actually just broke it to get the lid off, and I'm trying to hold on to it. I don't need the part, but I need the screw. As you can see, I was unsuccessful, so I'm gonna go through and take the rest of the screws out that hold the motherboard down. And when you take it out, the front controller plug-in also comes out. And to take that off, you just have to remove the cable, and it's kind of looped around. And I do have a replacement for this, and this just comes off with two pressure points on each side of this end. I am going to scrub it down a little bit. Once that's clean and wiped down, I can reattach the purple cover. And the only piece that didn't have a replacement cover was this back panel. I'm not too sure why. I was a little disappointed I had to keep the gray plastic. Now I can put the motherboard into the new shell. And then put this metal plate back over. And I am gonna clean out the power switch to make sure that it's all good. And once it's clean, we can go ahead and put it back in its spot. Now I can get the game release together, and the bar just goes in and the spring goes on the other end, and there's little notches on that side. Once you get it all in place, it should do a little spring action. Here it is. This is what it's supposed to do. Now I can put the controller board back on the front. Don't forget to loop the ribbon around, just be careful. And it just pushes back into place and then sits on top. And that's basically it for the bottom half of the shell. Now for the top half, this had a lot more parts than I thought it was going to have. So first, this top part came off. And there is a tiny little spring for the reset button, so make sure you remove that and put it on the new one. And then I heard some rattling and saw that there was a plastic piece that I needed to transfer to the new shell. Next is the reset button. And once that's off, the whole front just kind of breaks apart now. These just snap together, and unfortunately I did this ahead of time, forgetting that one had to go on one side and one had to go on the other. Which I realized right about now. The plastic piece goes on the back and then the button goes on the front. And it's just a snap, so just give it a little bit of pressure. And it should slide like that. And then now I need the power button. This one was a little more difficult to get together. And I'm just kind of removing everything so I can compare it to the other pieces and see how many replacement parts there are. And this is a replacement part for that. So I can peel the protective off the front, put it in place, and now I need the door. And you do need to take the spring off the door, so do not forget about that, or it will not open and close by itself. It just kind of lays in there. It doesn't necessarily snap in place. You just have to make sure you get it on there properly, so the spring's on there properly, so that the door opens and closes as it should. Now that that's on, I can get the final top part on. And there's the door. You can see it opening and closing on its own. Now I can reattach this spring. It is really tiny. Even with my tweezers, it took me a little bit, but it just has two areas it hooks to so that the reset button can move. Now I can transfer all the screws to the new case. From what I could tell, all the screws were the same on the top, so you shouldn't have to worry about where they go. Now we're going to put the lid on, and unfortunately I bumped the game cartridge a little bit, so I just got to get it back in place. I also have the cover for the back here. And then the last step is just putting the rubber feet on. There are 4 that come in the kit, 2 larger and 2 smaller, and they fit perfectly on the bottom so you won't get them mixed up. So this is what it looks like in the end. I'm gonna decorate it first because I may have to get to some other parts. And then once that's done, I will put the bottom screws in and finish it. Now it's time to give it to Diana for Christmas. Property of Diana. I love it. It's Diva. So as you can see, it was purple in the video. I know that my lighting in the office, I just like it really bright so I can see what I'm doing, and it turned the purple to blue. But I know that's not the first time it's happened on camera before. She really liked it. Even though I didn't know a lot about Overwatch, I just looked up her favorite character, Diva, and found her emblems and anything that she said, and I put it on the case. She also has all her games, so today they are definitely playing some retro games, and I'm probably going to join them after this. The only thing interesting about the case was once I was done decorating it, I brought it back upstairs, wiped everything down, flipped it over, and went to go put the back screws on, and I was having a lot of difficulty. And upon investigation, there were no threads for the screws on the back. So I was kind of at a loss on what to do. However, we have one of these, and this is what you use to give things new threads. So how this works is I did have to use the smallest one, and you basically put it in between this to clamp it down, and then you slowly spin it in and slowly spin it out so you can clear any of the material that's in there, and you just keep repeating it. It wasn't the same distance on the screw, but it made the idea of the threads there, so I was able to get the screws back in. It was something I hadn't seen before on a case, and I don't know if all the cases come like this or if I just got a random one that they forgot to do it to. So I would definitely look at getting something that will put the notches in so you can get the screws in perfectly. In the end, I thought this came out really awesome. I had never seen the inside of a Super NES, and I was surprised how intricate the top half of the shell was compared to the bottom half. The bottom half was easy. It just took out the motherboard, put the motherboard in, but the top had all the extra bits for the door and the buttons like the springs and the extra plastic pieces. I had a lot of fun with this. I definitely had a lot of fun decorating it. Once again, I don't know anything about Overwatch, but I had fun looking up her character and seeing what I could do with it. Let me know in the comments if you've ever reshelled a Super NES or if you've ever reshelled any system and why did you do it. This was a really fun project to do. Even though it was pretty simple and it didn't take me that long, I enjoyed doing it for a friend who wanted to re-experience her retro gaming days with a system that she had that unfortunately just had seen some better days. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Super NES game is to play, and I'll let Diana know and we'll see if we can have a retro gaming day. As always, if you liked this video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye!